Last video, I went over the Halloween update and how it reminded me of the seasonal demos of old. The first ever public demo was released on Halloween, and the last ever public demo was Christmas themed. Funny how that works. It's been a whole year, but I'd like to expand on an unused segment from my last video. So, let's dig in, Pizza Bros. The demos always had one unique quality. They typically included content meant specifically for just the demo, not the full game. Probably the single most popular instance of this is Snick, as a whole. He was created as a joke for the Sonic Amateur Games Expo in 2019. Obviously a parody of Sonic, he came equipped with an EXE form, a super form, a metal form, a jump ball, a finger wag, a goalpost, a peel out, and a lot of YouTube poop references in his taunts. As far as I can remember, Snick is one of the only characters that has dialogue at all. But here's where the pie gets extra meaty, boys. Noises Hardoween and Peppino's Xmas Break had some of the funniest exclusives. There's a lot of exclusive stuff I could talk about, but for today, I'd love to focus specifically on the milk that gives these levels their calcium. The decoration and art. Similar to the community involvement in the first demo, the tower decorations in these demos were made entirely by Discord members through a contest. I have no idea who made what, but the wiki does have a list of names. I love the idea of limited time decor, much like dressing your yard for the holidays. And the style is completely different from the ominous stuff you would typically see in the tower. Now even the most mundane corners have something to look at and think about. Uniquely, since this is a batch Scrimblow universe, decorations are much more personalized for the canon, and aren't as stereotypical as holiday decor you would see in other games. So yes, we can see Gustavo Elf with his iconic Christmas knife, and we can't forget about the holiday classic, pizza being tortured. Why don't we start with Noises Hardoween? The demo showcased a beta version of Pizza Scare, notably with color swaps to make some enemies look pretty pumpkin-core. And spooky decorations are laid out all over the castle. They murdered a fucking pizza. Nobody's safe. I don't know if the implication here was that a person was killed while eating pizza, or if they just murdered a pizza. I love how disgusting this one is. It really makes me not want to eat anything. I particularly like the Snick.exe plush because they took like two of the biggest Sonic creepypastas and rolled them into one thing. You got the limpness of the doll, you got the stitches everywhere, you even got a little antenna on the head, and he's just sitting in a corner, quietly. This is so fucked up, but so funny. It's especially great because the actual sprite probably just got chopped in half, like probably not even a redraw. But it's so fucked up, dude. Who would do that to him? Listen, if he gets murked, you're not safe. He's like the coolest dude I've ever met. I don't really gotta do much talking for this one, man. You got three fucking radical dudes over here trying to get a bite. I think it's time for a makeshift skeleton review. Little guy over on the right here, he ain't much. He needs a little bit more milk, I think, but he's looking pretty stoic with just his fingers popping out. You don't need to see his face to know what he's feeling. He ain't gonna say much, bro. Just hand him a slice. Don't be weird. This motherfucker will bite your hand off if you get a little too close to him. Leave him alone. This dude over here, I love that he's just grabbing the pizza in the completely wrong direction. I love the way his chompers are illustrated. You know he's gonna fuck that shit up. You know what? I also appreciate that they aren't full body. There's something very comfy about being buried halfway. So I'd have to rate these Skelly boys a solid 7.587 out of 10. They're very cozy, very hungry, and I love that they don't lose their ferociousness. What are you doing when the void stares back? Pepperman used to be able to change his colors in some of the demos, and he's commonly mistaken to be an apple over a pepper. So I think this is a really clever use of his likeness. It's great that Pepperman is included fairly often, despite appearing scarcely throughout the years. His giant toothy grin is nothing short of perfect for a pumpkin. I love that they include all the shitty strings attached to these floating ornaments. It nails that neighborhood decoration feeling. There's also these nightlight looking ass Snick ornaments that glow so hard they almost look like his super form. Snick has such a malleable design that they also just decided to stick some bat wings on him. Is this Snick Unleashed? I love that it looks like he's about to cry for some reason. Apparently it's based on his hurt animation. I'm not sure what Bachelor of Engineering Physics has to do with anything, but it's clever how an old Peppino death sprite was repurposed into his tombstone. It's nice and morbid, but also in line with an actual official depiction of Peppino dying. Gross. I love it. I've said it once and I'll say it again. This type of shit is straight out of the 2000s with how crude it is. I mess with it. Interestingly, Snick has a recurring character trait in the Pizza Tower lore. He's an event organizer. Or maybe he just wants different friends. Either way, having flyers plastered all over the place like you're navigating town on Halloween night to find where all your friends are headed is a cute feeling. Don't you dare be late. He worked hard to get everything ready. Notice something? Yeah, it's the only physical sprite of Snick that made it into the final game. I guess he had to conceal his identity since he's such a celebrity. He actually has dialogue here as well. I should also mention real quick, there's several noise costumes referencing the Grunch, Purple Guy, Spooky, and Skin. I like that this starting room is like a rundown shack, a forgotten about building. Or maybe it's an under construction building? Either way, it fits this idea of being an unfinished look at the game. It's similar to the original tutorial room. It seems dragons in the Pizza Tower world are just as mythical as they are in real life. Unfortunately, my guy Cheese Dragon is locked away in a secret room in the final game. Too bad he doesn't canonically exist anymore and he got turned into an ominous castle statue. This is one of the straight up coolest things to come from official Pizza Tower media. You know these anxious motherfuckers that will have a heart attack before you can even charge at them at Mach 2? Yeah, even these guys have a battle skeleton hiding inside their cheese flesh. They even use their iconic silverware weapons to form the crossbone shape. This dude is cold as hell! Look how dead his eyes are! He'll have you for breakfast! I'm pretty sure this flag also mirrors the ones you see in Pizzascape. It's a cool parallel considering Pizza Scare used to just be a hard mode of that level. Man, could you forget about the candy during Halloween? We got marshmallows, candy corn, jelly beans, and most importantly, a Snick popsicle with gumdrop eyes, a direct parody of the Sonic popsicle with gumball drop eyes that refuses to die. Seriously, this thing has been around for 20 years. I saw one 2 weeks ago! Similar to Hardoween, there are Christmas decorations made by the community all around Stronghold, which is a harder version of Bloodsauce Dungeon. My favorites definitely being the Christmas carolers, because it's really fun to see some of the enemies in a more casual state, kind of acting more like real living people, rather than just NPCs that charge at you. I'm also a huge fan of the gooey, cheesy Christmas tree. It's just so out of place. Instead of gifts, we get boxes of pizza. On Peppino, of course. I love that the classic red ornaments are just tomatoes. The tree itself has a goddamn cheese pull. It's disgusting. It's like a Lovecraftian living organism, which is exactly what I expect from this delightfully freaky art style. Sometimes we ask if we can make it, but never if we should. And as like an extra shitpost, they have Noise as the angel on top of the tree. Most notably, it has Greaseball aggressively dangling as a bulb ornament. One of the coziest parts of this demo is completely unused. McPig made a completely decorated version of the treasure room that has stockings everywhere, a little star that looks like it's from Mario, the usual podium is replaced with a present. The colors are nice and warm like you're right next to a fireplace. You got the usual slice of pizza and milk for Santa, there's a wreath and some lights. The original treasure room feels a little bit dangerous to be in, like I feel like I'm not supposed to be there. But this one? I mean, I could take a nap in here, dude. Peppermint already looks a little scary, but he's outright terrifying cosplaying as an elf. Bro is not a Santa elf, he's a whole-ass forest elf ready to deceive you. It's just what I asked for. Pizza Tower on Game Boy Advance. I don't think I need to explain this is cool because the game is heavily inspired by Wario Land 4. To me, this is less of a reference and more just hilarious. The box art here is pre-release artwork that I used to see people using as the official box art before the official box art was ever made. I mean, I always figured this was just supposed to be a random official art, nothing crazy, but it's nice that it has a place somewhere inside the game itself. The Noise Snowman is really funny because it's not like a snowman that was like molded to look like Noise. It's just a regular snowman that is just wearing Noise's actual clothes. It's like he hung his laundry to dry there. It just looks so crude and weirdly surreal. I'm getting the impression the Noise really likes Christmas, especially when he can make the holiday about himself. You ever seen that old classic Sonic wallpaper where he's just inside by the fireplace with a good book looking all cozy while Tails is outside about to die from the elements? Yeah, I really just love how cozy and warm aesthetics are during Christmas. So I'm happy that there's a few decorations here that have no references or humor. It's just a nice cozy display with a wreath and some wine and some turkey. Is that wine? It's brown. Is that like broth inside of a cup? I do love how this game tries to be so consistent with its pizza theming. So consistent, in fact, that we can't have candy canes. We have to make them out of cheese and pepperoni. And yet they're still frozen enough for little tomato boy to have his tongue stuck. I feel like this is definitely a prison of his own doing, and he should definitely be able to live with the consequences of his own actions. This one is really creative theming, actually. Instead of just using the regular candy and frostings, you're using actual cheese and dough and peppers and pepperoni to make a gingerbread man that's still pizza. It still fits. Instead of gumdrops and chocolate chips, it's pepperoni. But I kind of want to do that in real life. Imagine this. You're trying to scramble to get presents for your family and oh, a homeless guy. How immersive. Yeah, this is actually one of Fake Peppino's few appearances because he was never really advertised to be a reoccurring character. He was kept largely a secret up until the base game dropped. This demo has a completely unique noise boss battle that is used in nothing else besides Peppino's Xmas Break. I thought that level of extra effort was crazy just for a seasonal demo, not even an update, a demo. It has a bunch of cameos from a bunch of different characters, such as Snick. This demo has a bunch of level gimmicks that never made it into the final game, such as the infamous slippery floors. It also has a completely unique sprite at the end of the demo where Peppino escapes the tower and he jumps onto a Santa sleigh with the rest of the gang. Like I said, there's an unusual amount of effort put into Stronghold. They have an original song that went completely unused. They have an original background, original tiles, kinda. The background is really cool because this is supposed to kind of be a Redux version of Bloodsauce Dungeon, a dungeon level. But that level had a bunch of grates and holes in the wall that led to like different cells, but it was all like warm and there's pizza sauce everywhere. But in this one, it's all cold and it's dripping, like there's little puddles of water and ice everywhere, which pretty much gives it the same standoffish feel that Bloodsauce has. It's really cool to see an alternative form of what is essentially the same environment. I think I might actually like it more than Bloodsauce Dungeon. Again, with the details in this silly little demo, they replaced all the pizza toppings that you collect with sugar cookies and gingerbread men, as well as the toppings themselves. They got replaced with other Christmas sweets. The collectibles in specific really jump out at me because McPig specifically chose to draw like grandma tier sweets. It's wonderful that everything about the theming gets totally overhauled. I like that this demo represents a lot of characters, even ones you might not immediately think of, such as Tomato Boy and Pizzard. This decoration is kind of like they were all playing in the snow and making self-sculptures. Oh hey, he's right there. The big nutcracker teeth extending into their torso looks just like Peppino's elongated, toothy expressions. I didn't expect this one to match so well. But yeah, I just needed to talk about this because all of these demos had so much additional content and theming that basically made them on par with an official update to a game. Not to mention, these are also some of my first memories with the game. I know these demos aren't very accessible to play anymore, you can only obtain them through creative means at this point, but hopefully this feels like you're not missing out on the party now. I want to make more of these really high-effort, highly edited, scripted videos where I go over really passionate topics of mine. It's been a year since I last made one of these. I was actually working on it immediately after the Halloween update video, but I got so preoccupied making other videos for more time-sensitive, short stuff that I'm also very interested in. So stay tuned for whenever one of these drop. So much work goes into these. And I'm figuring out ways to streamline it and make it quicker, so the viewership's very much appreciated. Damn it!